So, you clicked on this video because you have wasted your entire day laying on bed and scrolling on your phone and living in your lazy girl era. And we are gonna fix that. To tackle this laziness, we need to understand why we get lazy in the first place. Usually, a phase of laziness begins when you go through some problem or incident which may inflict negative emotions or some sort of change. So it could be getting fired from your job, it could be failing an exam, or it could be a separation of a friend, losing a loved one, or even breakup, or moving to a different country. It could be anything. Basically, any negative environment or any major change. Whatever it may be, our brain feels like it's an emotion overload. So it's just like, I'm gonna pretend that this problem is not there and just indulge in extreme distraction. So first we need to start working on unpacking all of our emotions and then shifting our mindset. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. Imagine you're in a war and you're like, oh, this is too much for me, so I'm just gonna run away. You're not gonna win. There's no victory if you don't fight the war. Same way, if you do not feel your emotions, if you don't fight through them, you cannot win in life. You have to face it. Don't hold back from crying or venting it out somewhere. I said somewhere, not someone. So you can write it down and burn it or type it out or even record yourself screaming with rage. Just put it out somewhere. I know no one likes pain. It feels miserable to feel those emotions. But in order for you to completely heal, the first step is to be able to feel and recognize and acknowledge that this problem is there and this is how I feel, and allow yourself to feel that way. Look, once you feel all your emotions, now comes the important part. Do not be stuck in your victim mindset. Oh, I'm so miserable, my life sucks, I always fail, I never succeed. Look, cry as much as you want. But once you're done crying, khalas, we don't read our books backwards. Now your only focus should be on shifting your mindset. And how do you do that? Rewire your brain to think differently. Remember when you were just a kid and you were full of life and you had this vision of what you wanted to be when you grew up, and it was so exciting that you couldn't even wait to grow up. Now I want you to close your eyes and imagine this little girl's face. Do you want to break your promise and say, I'm sorry, we just couldn't get past this incident, I failed you? Do you want to do that? No, right? That's what I thought. So you better get yourself back together. Imagine you have a friend, okay? And you were always there for this friend. Every time she hit rock bottom, you were there to pick her up. Every time she felt like she couldn't survive another day, you helped her survive. You were there for her through thick and thin. But she never does anything for you. She only comes to you when her friends ditch her. A terrible friend, right? Yes. That friend is you. Because that's how you treat yourself. You keep breaking the promises you made to yourself and keep prioritizing others who are just temporary people in your life. Look, the only person who's been there for you all your life is yourself. And yet you let other people sabotage your life. Don't you deserve some self-respect? Look, take away the power to let those people affect you and focus it on yourself. The minute you start doing that, absolutely nothing bothers you. The only power that others have on you is your attention. Shift that attention from them to yourself, and not a single thing will ever bother you again in your life, because your whole attention is on yourself and your self-growth. If they come into your life, sure, welcome. But if they don't deserve to be in your life, or if they decide to walk away from your life, I will hold the door open for you. Please leave. Thank you. But there is no way that is going to deviate me from who I am and who I want to be. You need to show up for yourself. No one else will. Nobody is going to come and do your work. Sure, they'll tell you, you should stop being lazy, you should get out of bed, you should start working harder, you should start studying harder. But nobody's going to come and do that for you. You have to do it on your own. You see, dreams don't work until you do. So you have to put in the hard work. There is no easy way out. Every time you feel lazy or every time you doubt yourself, like, oh, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out for me? Just remember that your future self is judging you. She's looking right at your present self and saying, only if you studied harder, only if you worked harder, only if you tried that new opportunity, only if you took that risk, I would have been in such a better place. She's blaming you. Don't let her do that. Because your present self is superior. Of course, your future self is also superior, but right now is your time to shine. She can shine in the future. Don't let her tell that you are stupid. Look, the only competition that you have is yourself. You need to make your past self proud and give no chances to your future self to blame you. Don't care about where others are there in their lives. It doesn't matter. The only thing that should matter to you is yourself. Look, I can sit here and motivate you for hours, but motivation doesn't work in the long term. Instead, you need to start to change your mindset, change the way you think. Instead of thinking, oh, what will people think? Start thinking, oh, what would my future self think? Instead of thinking, oh, what if I fail? Start thinking, who said I cannot succeed? I'll prove you wrong. You need to build discipline. You need to consistently show up for yourself every single day. You owe it to yourself. Of course you do. After treating yourself like crap like that, that's the least you can do for yourself. If that mindset shift wasn't enough for you to jump out of bed and get going, here are some physical habits that you can do to get out of your lazy girl era. Start the day right. Probably the first thing that you do after waking up is scrolling through your phone. So substitute that with a motivating podcast or something that puts you in a good mood and makes you get out of bed immediately. Second, make your bed. I'm not even going to explain, just make your bed. Clean yourself and your environment. Have an everything shower. It immediately puts you in a good mood and also makes you feel like your life is together. Along with that, just clean up your room or your environment. You don't have to deep clean, just make it look clean from the outside, and that in itself is enough for you to immediately feel like you need to stop being lazy. Indulge in positive content. Let's say you're going through a breakup and all you do is listen to sad songs and watch couples on your For You page. Obviously, you want to rot in bed and be sad all day. Instead, learn to hack your algorithm. My favorite thing to do whenever I see anything negative in my For You page is immediately go and search for hashtag motivation, hashtag empowering, hashtag whatever you want to see on your For You page, and like all the reels in that category and send it to someone. If you don't have anybody to send, you can just press send and type in your own username and send it to yourself. And soon you will see that your entire For You page is revolving around only that topic. And that's how you can hack your algorithm and make the content around you all positive. And also unfollow all these crappy people that you keep comparing yourself with and start following accounts which are more empowering and motivating, and start watching videos that make you appreciate the little things in life. Let me tell you, the ultimate joy is hidden in the little things in your life. Let's say, for example, your morning coffee or the way your mom scolds you when you forget your keys. Listen to podcasts related to self-growth and self-improvement. Sometimes you really are not in the mood to consume this particular content because you have a bad mood. At that time, I practice this habit stacking method. Is basically stack your habits with something that you have to do along with something that you like to do. For example, there is this podcast about setting your boundaries, and I know it's good for me and I need to listen to it, but I really don't feel like it. On the other hand, I really love drawing and I feel like drawing. So I'd stack these two habits so I can draw whilst I'm listening to this podcast. Make a Pinterest board. Treat this like a new chapter of the book called Your Life and you are turning over a new page. So make a Pinterest board with pictures that will inspire you along with some powerful quotes, and you can name it anything that you want your chapter to look like. And every time you feel like you are kind of becoming low again, or you sense this wave of emotions coming to thrash you, and every time you feel like you're going to drown in those emotions, you can use this Pinterest board to get back on track. 5-second rule, but with a twist. Every time you feel like you're putting off a task a lot and you're procrastinating and you really don't feel like getting up, play this game with yourself. It's called the 5-second rule, where you count down from 1 to 5, and by the time you reach 5, you have to get up and get going. If you don't, you lose. So track down every time you win this game, and end of the day, if you reach a particular number of points, you get to reward yourself. Speaking of rewards, make your addictions your reward. So let's say you love cold coffee. So by the end of the day, if you get 20 points, you will have cold coffee. If you make your addictions your reward, you will find yourself doing the tasks like this in order to get to that addiction, because obviously you can't stay away from it, but you cannot really have it unless you do all these tasks. So you will see yourself completing these tasks as soon as possible. Make a to-do list. Write it down. Till you haven't written it down, it's not there. It's very easy for your brain to convince you that this task, it can be done later. When you write it down, you're making an intention that this has to be done right now. Just take a paper and a pen, and if you're lazy, just take your phone, open your notes app and make a checklist. But don't forget to make it specified. Let's say you want to study. Instead of just writing study, write study chemistry for 1 hour from 9:30. You see how specified that is? It shows you what subject you have to study. It shows you how much hours you have to study and when do you have to start studying. So make your goals or your tasks as specified as possible, and make sure you're writing this to-do list in the beginning of the day so you can curate your own morning routine according to your needs, because morning routine plays a very important role in how your day begins, and therefore it dictates how the rest of your day goes. If you need help with how you can curate your own personal morning routine according to your needs, you can check out the video right here. Because if you start your day right, it's hard to go wrong. 3 power tasks. On the days that I really don't feel like doing anything, I'm just not in the mood to be productive, which is okay. You don't have to be productive 24/7. I have this 3 power tasks. So basically I tell myself, if you complete this 3 power tasks, for the rest of the day, you're free to do whatever you want. So this way I'm not starting the cycle of my lazy girl era again, because I'm still doing something productive, but I'm also allowing myself for the rest of the day to do whatever I want and indulge in resting and self-care. Accept that you can have a lazy girl era again. Listen, it's not possible for humans to be productive 24/7. We do have certain incidents which will happen again, which will trigger you, and again you will end up falling into your lazy girl era phase. It's okay. It's okay to rest, but what's important is that you do not get stuck in this era forever or for a very long time. So what I would suggest is have something from the times where you were at your rock bottom, something strong, something that shows you why you had to get out of that era, something which reminds you of your why in your life and why it is important for you to not just waste the rest of your life. Once you have your why, it in itself is enough for you to get back up. And if you don't have anything that's so strong where you would again convince yourself to come back up, and if this video worked for you, you can always come back to this video and watch it all over again. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.